3 Brilliant Minutes, sponsored by Sinclair Heating and Cooling for 24/7 comfort on call.
Well, hello, Brad. How are you?
I'm quite well, Chris. How about yourself?
I'll be fine as long as I avoid that thing.
They're creepy, they're crawly,
And they're kind of everywhere right now.
they're back in the news, and
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why. Be on the lookout. Here are just some of the bullet points because this story is kind of making the
Sure.
news cycle right now. But here are some of the things that we all need to be remembering, especially with the holiday weekend, and it falls where we all have a long weekend this year, so you're going to
Everybody's
be
gonna
out.
be out. Yep.
Correct. So ticks are multiplying, admittedly, at alarming rates nationwide. And in fact, I should also mention not just in the United States, throughout North America. Okay. They're also migrating to areas that have not been their preferred habitats. Usually you think of ticks, you think the woods. Not anymore.
Oh.
The field, wherever. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ticks are also migrating farther north and farther inland. There's a species of ticks that historically has been only over the West Coast. They're pushing eastward. There's a species of ticks down across the Gulf Coast that has now migrated as far north as southern Canada.
Oh.
So now we're starting to get a lot of different species
Sure.
of ticks, even here across the upper Midwest. And tick season has become year-round in some areas where they were seasonal. In fact, here in Wisconsin, when you think back, for those of you who have been around a few decades, tick season was not in winter.
Right.
But now, throughout the upper Midwest, it's considered not that it's not tick season, they're just not as active in winter.
As active.
Correct.
But still active.
So again, this is all really because of climate change, the warmer winters, milder winters,
Sure.
shorter winters. So they're able to expand their boundaries. And that includes, by the way, as they point out, it could be a city park, it could be your yard. Be on the lookout. It's an interesting development, one we don't like to hear.
No, not at all. So thanks very much for that.
Okay, keeping with the warming climate, here's another interesting concept. The atmosphere's growing thirst is making droughts worse, even where it rains. This comes from the University of California, Santa Barbara. This has been one of those which comes first, the chicken or the egg debates, okay? Because the bottom line is that warm air can hold more water. So does that mean we're going to get more floods? Or does that mean we're going to have more droughts because the atmosphere is holding more water?
Not releasing said water.
Correct.
Okay.
So this is the concept, atmospheric evaporative demand. This is where the warm air acts like a sponge and it's sucking up moisture faster than it can be replaced, which means river levels are dropping, surface lakes are dropping, soils are drying out quicker, crops, rangelands, forests, they're all drying out. Yes, they're getting rain, but not enough to replenish what is going up into the atmosphere. So how did they figure this out? They looked at real-world observations, multiple world-class data sets, and they applied some of the most advanced models for atmospheric evaporative demand. And that's how they have concluded that globally, that these droughts are more commonplace because the precipitation rates just aren't keeping up with it, okay? Specifically, droughts are 40% more severe over the course of the past 40 years. It's a trend that will not likely reverse. Okay? Here's what they say, and this brings up an important point. This study reinforces past work showing that droughts will become more intense in a warming world. This has implications for global food and water security. You can understand that,
Yeah, sure.
which may in turn amplify political instability and conflict in parts of the world. And also a thirsty atmosphere desiccates plants, which contributes to more frequent and more widespread and larger wildfires. And we witnessed in recent years all the wildfire smoke, which is just to our north today. I saw in the satellite pictures like, oh, I don't hope it's not coming back, but it's nearby.
All right. Brad, thanks so much. More challenges for farmers coming their way,
Yes.
for sure. All right, still to come your way at 4:30. Remember, yesterday.